Hi, I'm Genesis Macias, and today I will be talking about terrorism. So, terrorism is a use of violence or threatened violence against innocent people to achieve a social or political goal. And there's two different types of terrorism. There's international terrorism and there's domestic terrorism. And basically, international terrorism is just, attacks from a different country on another country. Like for us, an example would be 9/11. And domestic terrorism is terrorism like within the country, like from residents of the country attacking their country. Like an example for us would be like the Unabomber. And when it comes to terrorism, something that I think I wouldn't say it's interesting, but um, like they don't plan on who to kill. Like they don't have certain people in mind. They just kill. They just do their attacks to kill people, and they usually like 99% of the time don't know the victims. They just go on a killing, like terrorists. They just go on the killing spree and just kill a bunch of people. And when they do this, they're not doing it for like a personal need or for like a materialistic gain. They're doing it to get a point across. They kill all these people to get some type of social or political point like across. And that just, I don't know, like they just go and shoot innocent people, like in like recently the Las Vegas shooting. Some people don't think that's terrorism, but I think it's domestic terrorism. He just grabbed a bunch of guns and started shooting out into a concert and killed 58 people he didn't know. And I think that's crazy. And usually terrorism, it's 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 around groups like ISIS can be a terrorist group. I mean, it is a terrorist group. There can be the alt rights or the alt lefts or white supremacists. Just people who have these fanatic beliefs that, and they go and they do, they threaten or they act and they do all that just to reach a goal. Like and like here in the US, there's been a few, like the Boston bombing. Yeah, the bomb of the marathon that happened a few years ago. I don't remember what if the shooters who they were, but and then like the Las Vegas one, the Pulse nightclub shooting that killed like I think 49 people. And some people, they don't think school shootings are terrorism, but I do. I think it's domestic terrorism. I full-heartedly believe that school shootings is a form of terrorism. Some people don't. I do. And then some other terrorism acts that happen in like another country, like the one in Manchester for the Ariana Grande concert. He just he just let off a bomb in the middle of the concert and killed. I don't remember how much he killed, but for that one, it still kind of boggles me because I don't know what the point he was trying to get was. Because usually when it comes to this kind of stuff, they do it to achieve something, but for that one, I don't know what he was trying to achieve. And then the Paris attacks in 2015, there was suicide bombings or mass shootings, and in total, 130 people were killed. And I guess why it happened was because of the I ISIL. I don't remember what it stands for, but I think it's like a church or something. And they were saying like Islamic church, I think. They took full blame for the Paris attacks, and they said it was like retaliation for the airstrikes that France like set into Syria or something like that. They were doing it as an act of war. And after that, Paris just set up a bunch of regulations, and the U.S. set up a few regulations too. Like I think was it last year? I don't remember if it was last year or 2016, where the Muslim ban was happening. I think that happened after the Paris attack, where the Muslim ban happened, and actually no, I don't. I don't remember when it happened actually, but it was when people couldn't get into the US like from those countries, I believe, or they couldn't get past if they didn't have like the right documentation or something like that. And that lasted for a bit, and people, they got stranded, but ultimately they revoked the Muslim ban, and I think that was quite dumb because I mean you can't blame an entire religion for the acts of some, like when it comes, like with white supremacy, so many of these white supremacists are Christians, and they go on shooting sprees and they kill people, and you don't see the US banning Christians from being here, but they go and they ban Muslims, and that happened like after 9/11. Not the Muslim ban, but the whole stigma on Muslims happened after 9/11 because of what is it, Osama bin Laden? Because of that whole, like, I understand 9/11 was a tragedy, but to this day it's one of the worst tragedies we've ever seen. But like the stigma it left on Muslims, on Islam, on people like that is terrible. You know, I've seen videos of people just walking down the street and they see some girl with the hijab and they just yell terrorist. Like that doesn't make her a terrorist just because she's Muslim or just because she believes in Allah. Like that doesn't make her a terrorist. And it just, I don't know, it makes me mad because, like I said, the white supremacists that go on shooting rampages, they're Christian, and you don't see people going, oh my God, he's a white Christian, he's a terrorist. But that's the stigma that our political leaders have led everybody to believe, that Muslim people are terrorists, and that is not the case. It really is not the case at all. And I remember last semester for my AGS 101, in the book, it talked about terrorism too, and it was talking about how most of the terrorist attacks in the United States is actually domestic terrorism from white supremacists, but people don't listen to facts, and they just. But yeah, actually, the U.S. is like terrorist attacks that happen here is mostly domestic terrorism from white supremacists, which I think is quite ironic. And like like lately, the past school shooting that happened, white supremacist, the Las Vegas shooting, white supremacist. It's just, it's crazy how one thing can happen and it just. Well, I still don't understand why the Muslim ban happened, because I don't know how we could ban like a whole from coming in, and people that lived here, they couldn't come back in, and I don't know, to this day I still don't fully understand how and why that happened. Like, how was that allowed to happen? But I don't know, the United States, they have their own way of doing things, so